Hey guys, Dr. Ben here. Welcome back. Guess Facebook was a little bit on the down low yesterday, but everybody's back up and running. So here we go. We're going to get into viruses. We're going to get into how they replicate, what they're doing, what it's actually doing inside of us. So if we understand what's actually going on and how our body functions, then we can help prevent things and we can stop things from happening. So welcome everybody. I'm going to get into it, all about viruses, and then what you can do to make these changes to fight off whatever you need to fight off, keep it at bay, do what you need to do. So welcome, love having you on. Pop down below where you're watching from and give me a thumbs up at any point. Any questions that you have. If you haven't already, like or follow our page. Tons of good information. We're also on YouTube. We've got over 400 videos on there. Lots of information for you guys to take massive action for your health. And that's really what it comes down to. Whether you decide to wear a mask or not wear a mask, to get a shot or not get a shot, whatever you're deciding to do, you need to take massive action and get your body as strong and vibrant and healthy as possible. So let's dig into it now. Welcome everybody. Again, pop down below. We saw somebody from Oklahoma already. We got people all over the country, all over the world. Love seeing you guys. So Bill, great to see you there. All right, so let's get into it. What is a virus? And by knowing what a virus is, what can that do for us to actually prevent them from spreading, prevent them from infecting us, prevent them from causing damage in the body? So here we go. There's over 2,000 known viruses in the world, and about 10% of those are going to infect humans, meaning not all viruses can go from animal to a human and human to animal. But what we do know is that there is some interspecies spreading a virus. Even now, there just was a study done. They looked at deer and found like 40% of the deer in Pennsylvania had COVID, or they had the COVID virus. It doesn't mean that it's going in and actually affecting them. Great to see you out in Lexington there. So 2,000 viruses, about 10% infect humans. Some of them can jump species. But get this, viruses are not technically alive. A virus is not a cell that's replicating. If you remember way back from biology class, inside that cell, we've got mitochondria and we've got all these different parts of the cell that are functioning and moving and creating energy and metabolism and all these things. A virus does not have that. So basically a virus is a non-living thing. It's not alive. It's more of a genetic structure, and we can have RNA or DNA viruses. And so a virus needs a host, and the host is the most crucial part, because a virus floating around in the air, going through the air ducts, somebody sneezing out a virus, whatever it is not going to be able to replicate on its own. So what are we doing? Well, we're being a host. As human beings, we're going to be a host to a virus, and that's the most important part of this whole conversation, is how can you be the least inviting host possible? So somebody's going to try to break into your house. What are you going to do? It's like that Will Smith movie, right, with the zombie movie, where at nighttime these zombies come out, and so they drop down these metal protectors over the windows. All the lights go off. There's big bright lights sticking out there, shining on the zombies. So anybody a zombie fan out there? So the zombies they don't like light, and so there's huge spotlights, and they're just doing everything they can to be a not very good host. And that's what we need to do as humans. And I'm going to go through some different things here in a minute about how we can make ourselves the least positive host for these viruses to replicate. Because what happens is those viruses, they have to get into the cell. Inside the cell is where they start replicating. So welcome everybody that are still jumping on here now. We're going over viruses. We're going over basically that virology 101, and then a bunch of things that you guys can start doing now to make yourself the least host. We don't want to be a gracious host, basically. So let's keep them at bay as much as possible. So The cells need to be basically broken by that virus. They need to get inside that cell. It's going to almost be like a parasite at that point, where it's going to replicate inside the cell. When there gets up to about 1,000 viruses in that cell, the cell will actually burst, and then it's going to go and go to other cells. So then those viruses, they've replicated, and they're going to go on to the next cell and the next cell and the next cell. And so if our bodies can fight it off very, very quickly, then we're going to be in good shape, and we're not even going to get to that place where those viruses are getting into the cell. So we've got 2 different life cycles of viruses, and this is important because there's 2 different phases that viruses can go into, and different types of viruses are going to do these. So the first one is going to focus on the reproduction side. It's going to try to replicate, go, 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 go. That's the flu, that's coronaviruses, cold, COVID, all these different things are going to be those upper respiratory seasonal infections, meaning they're going to come and go. They're going to get into the body's going to fight it off, and they're going to go away, and that's it. And then there's the kind that are going to be the ones that are remaining dormant in the body, and this is going to be the herpes, the hepatitis, the chicken pox, which turns into shingles, Epstein-Barr, HIV, a lot of these that are these dormant, low grade, and the body is just depleted and run down, and it's continually trying to fight this. West Nile, a lot of these different ones. And so they're going to always just be in the back of the body, just trying to get at it, but that really depletes the body as well. We see many people that have chronic viral infections, and you look for low white blood cell count under 5. You look for high lymphocytes over 38. And then a lot of people, that'll actually be liver enzymes are going high as well. So those are another thing that you're looking at. So our first defense. So anybody know tannerite? So let's say that people are coming to attack your house, and you've got tannerite around the perimeter of the house, and you shoot that tannerite, it explodes. That's this first layer of defense, and that's going to be the skin. That's going to be the mucous membrane, so in the nasal passage, in the throat, in the mouth, in through there. And also really, really important is going to be the stomach acid. So a lot of viruses, they get in through the mouth, they're on food, things like that. And if you are on a stomach acid lowering medication, if you don't make enough stomach acid, if you're under chronic stress, if you're aging, you are not making enough stomach acid, and there's a very good chance that you're not going to fight that virus off. If you're using antimicrobials all the time, your skin has an immune system on it. And so that's one of the main reasons why, yes, you need to wash your hands and you need to use a little bit of soap, but do not be using hand sanitizers all the time. Do not be using antibacterial salves and creams and all these different things. You need to have a good immune system on your skin as well. And then the couple of things that we're going to be talking about are going to be to use some sprays, gargling, some different things to give as much of a defense as possible to that nasal passage and to the mouth. So that's the first line of defense. From there, the lymphocytes get activated. So again, lymphocytes, if you're over 38 on your lymphocytes, usually that's some type of a chronic viral infection. And then lymphocytes are going to be the T and B cells. So you've heard about these. These are going to be the cells that are going to ultimately produce antibodies. You can test for T cells and see if you've got those. For a lot of people, their antibodies will go away, but they still have T cells. The T cells are going to be producing those antibodies. The antibodies are going to be tagging that virus for destruction, and then the immune system comes in and attacks that virus and destroys it. So this is what happens. Let's say you had chickenpox when you were a kid and you get exposed to chickenpox again. You will not get chickenpox again because your antibodies are already there and they come and attack those chickenpox virus, and it's gone. But what happens when the antibodies go away, occasionally we will see people that get exposed to that virus. So let's say it's a flu, and every year that flu virus comes back around, and it's a different kind. Hey Trish, there in North Carolina, great to see you. Every time that virus comes around, it's going to need to rev up this whole system again, and that's why people can get the flu every year. The other reason is because viruses can evolve and they can change and shift. The research shows anywhere from like 10 to 40% accuracy every year for the flu vaccine. That that they err on the they err every year more than they get it right, and so unfortunately they just guess and go, okay, here's our educated guess. We're looking at what's going around the world, whatever. We're going to do this strain of flu, and we're going to try to knock that down with the vaccination. Unfortunately, they miss most of the time, and in a lot of people over 70, they're very ineffective. Anyways, the research shows about 50% effectiveness for people over 70 with flu vaccine versus people in their 20s, 30s is about 80-90%, and that's because of the immune response. So vaccinations only work if the body creates a big enough reaction. So I've got a patient that had a kidney transplant, and she took her COVID shots and never had antibodies show up. They tested multiple times and they never showed up because she's on immunosuppressants, and her immune system couldn't even create a response to this. So some of you people out there, if you've had COVID, think you had it, but don't have antibodies, it may be a sign that your immune system just was not able to produce this big enough response in there. So what do we do in the traditional medical model? Well, one of the things that you don't want to do is do antibiotics. So antibiotics will do nothing for the virus. In some cases, like with COVID, they'll say do an antibiotic with it. That's to help with co-infections, co-bacterial infections, things like that. But for most people, if you got the flu, if you got any other type of virus, taking an antibiotic is actually one of the worst things you can do, because it's going to kill off the good bacteria. It's going to do nothing for that virus, and it's going to cause more damage in your gut. You could get candida overgrowth, you can get yeast overgrowth, a lot of issues going down that path. So you've got to know what you're dealing with, and not just, I think I got a cold. Is it bacteria? Is it virus? Whatever it is, just take this antibiotic. Really not a good place to go. It destroys a lot of other good things in there. So let's get into it now. Get out your notebook, write these things down, take notes. We've got some links down below for some products that we use personally. We were in the last couple of weeks, we were just using Nebulizer at home, sauna, a lot of good things that are going to be helpful. Hey, Michelle, great to see you. All right. So let's get into it. One of the first things that you want to do, and you can do this every single day when you come back in, if you're a teacher and you come back home from teaching, whatever it is, you want to gargle. And here's two things that are really, really good to gargle with. One is apple cider vinegar. You want to gargle with that, where even for a minute, just sit there, gargle, 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 swish it around your mouth, everything. And then for that, after a minute, then you gargle with the food grade hydrogen peroxide. And for those of you that have plaque or any gingivitis, anything like that, this is actually one of the best, I'll do a video on this later, this is one of the best things that you can do for plaque and for just general mouth hygiene, is to do the apple cider vinegar and the food grade hydrogen peroxide. Don't use the brown bottle hydrogen peroxide. Look at that link down below and get that food grade hydrogen peroxide. Amazon, you can grab it, you can get it in Sprouts, some of those different stores. Okay, so you want to gargle anything in the mouth, you want to kill that off as much as possible. Apple cider vinegar, food grade hydrogen peroxide. Next thing you want to do is think about your nasal passage, and you want to do some sprays. You can do sprays. We've got one down below for a xylitol spray. So a lot of research showing that xylitol sprays can be very helpful. You can do colloidal silver in there. You can do some sprays with the food grade hydrogen peroxide, but it's just a great way. And then spray in those, inhale a little bit, get it up in there, and that's going to kill off a lot of the viruses that we're exposed to. So if you're immunocompromised, if you've got autoimmune, if you've got concerns about getting sick of any kind, these are great things that you can do every single day. Gargle, nasal spray, nasal wash. You could do a neti pot, a Nelly Med, where it sprays it up and through, whatever you want to do to go through there. Another thing that's going to be helpful is a nebulizer. We've got a link down below for a nebulizer, and there's recipes on the internet. I'm not going to give that right now, but there's recipes out there where you use a little bit of food grade hydrogen peroxide in that distilled water and breathe in that nebulizer, and that can be a great part of it. There's a really good doctor up in Detroit that used that a whole lot. Amy, what about saline spray? Yes, but you would want to put some of the xylitol or the food grade hydrogen peroxide in there as well. But so just saline spray is not going to be enough to wash it out, and it's not going to be enough to kill it off. So zinc is one of the biggest things that you can do as far as a supplement goes for killing off viruses, and there's lots of research that show this works. And so this viral load is going to, especially once it starts getting into that cell, we've got to be able to stop that replication. Hey Lexi, can we do this daily? Yeah. Yes, Heidi, do not use the brown bottle of hydrogen peroxide. That has preservatives, toxins, things like that. You want to get the food grade hydrogen peroxide, really easy to get. So, but yeah, don't be drinking or inhaling the brown bottle hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so zinc is going to be one of the best nutrients that's going to stop the replication. But here's the deal. Zinc has a hard time getting into the cell to stop that replication. So what do we got to do? Hey, Gina, great to see you. Stairmaster, there you go. Keep that body moving. So you've got to have carriers a lot of time. Exactly. Melissa, you beat me to the punch. Does quercetin help the zinc? Absolutely. So here's the deal. Quercetin, and this is even why HCQ was shown to be effective as well, especially early on in this process. Not 12 days into the infection, but early on, it's going to help pull that zinc into the cell, and both quercetin and that are, Lexi, 1 minute each. Both of those are going to be very good at getting zinc into that cell. Quercetin, great for the brain. You can do it before bed, and there's a lot of research showing help with Alzheimer's and different things. Trish, great to see you. And then garlic, here we go. If you're eating garlic, make sure everybody's eating garlic, otherwise you won't have many friends. What you want to do is you can take garlic capsules, pills, different things like that. But if you're hardcore enough, chop it up, throw it in some honey, and shoot that down. A clove a day will keep the doctor away. So that fresh garlic, make sure everybody in the house is doing it. Otherwise, they won't want to sit next to you at the dinner table. Colloidal silver is going to be helpful as well. And colloidal silver, you can take that internally. You can do nasal sprays, rinse with that. A lot of good research on the colloidal silver. The nasal spray with the xylitol, great thing if you're a teacher, if you're around a lot of kids. Amy, shoot us a direct message. I'll send you over some thoughts I have on that. The nasal spray with the xylitol, you could just keep that on hand. If you're working at the DMV and you got people coming in all the time, instead of just sitting there washing your hands nonstop and killing off all that good bacteria, squirt, squirt. Yeah, you just learn to love it, Trisha. Good job. Green tea has a lot of antiviral benefit to it. Taking a cup of green tea every day, as well as even green tea capsules, can be helpful. So here's what we're looking at. There's things that you can do. Make yourself the least inviting host as possible, and these are the great ones to kind of keep everybody at bay. Once it gets in, sure, there's things that we can do and different nutrients, C and D and a lot of those things, but keep the body as strong as possible by keeping people away. You need to keep your body strong, work out, sleep, stress less, get out in nature, all those different things. But these are some daily, let's move our feet, be as active as we possibly can. So we'll answer any of those questions down below, guys. I got to jump. Great having you on. Stay strong. Make your body the least inviting host possible. Keep that thought all day long. Take care, guys.